All right, welcome everybody to week 4, I believe. You joined me here at a lovely Laguna Seca for week 4 of Osborne Motors Endurance Challenge. Beautiful. Long pause as usual. This is your host, Marcus Osborne, founder of Osborne Motors Endurance Challenge. Pretend, washed up pretend race car driver. That's about all I got. But we're back here. As I said, this is week 4, Laguna Seca. This is an endurance week. Last week we had the sprint doubleheader. And this week, we are back to the good old endurance racing. We're in the middle of a 30-minute open qualifying session, and then after that, once the drivers have put down the best times they can put down in that 30-minute period, we will be on to our 90 minutes of GT3 racing. There is a few new rules. There's only one new rule. Tire changes. Each driver is only allowed 2 sets of tires tonight. So while there will still be at least 3 pit stops, maybe 2 if you're really good at fuel saving, but I doubt it. It'll be at least 3 pit stops. You only have 2 sets of tires, so each driver will only have 1 tire change instead of getting free tires every stop like last week. So hopefully tonight we will be seeing a lot of tire strategy coming into play. This is a pretty hard on tire track, a lot of tight corners. Let's take a look at the track conditions. You'd think I'd have that up ahead of time, but I don't. I'm still learning. This is Laguna Seca. Actually, it is not that hot. It is only 63 degrees out there today, but it is about 7 a.m. sim time. So we'll see as time goes on if that temperature decides to heat up or not, but the track is starting at a 0% track state, so it is going to be kind of a cold, slippery track out there. There was some talk from the drivers in earlier practice sessions that the track is pretty slippery. Each car is running the standard medium downforce iRacing set, so no high downforce, no special setups. Everyone's got the same setup, and it sounds like it may be tricky out there tonight. So the drivers hopefully will get track state up a little bit, get it rubbered in during this open qualifying, and then we will see what happens during the race. Now, GT3 tires are usually only good for about an hour if you take care of them. So if you take tires your first stop, then you're gonna have to really make sure you make them last for that last hour. But I have a feeling that most drivers will probably be taking tires on their second stop. Looks like we are about 13 minutes into qualifying so far. Tyler Langdenberg, who we've been watching here out there in that Ford, still putting on a time for first place. Looks like he's thrown out a 122.146, but Nate Sides not that far behind him. In fact, only 1/100th of a second behind him is Nate Sides in that Team Rahal Porsche. As the track evolves a little bit more here tonight, I assume that time will drop. We'll see what's going to happen. Patrick Cantrell, again, only a 10th off of Langdenberg. So far, I think on this, this new, fresh, cold track, the times are still going to be pretty close here. Patrick Cantrell does not have to battle with his teammate, Bob Lindell, tonight. He will be missing this race, so this is Patrick's chance to jump ahead of him in points and really make a lead. Devin Adams has had a rough couple showings here this season. I think he's probably going to be looking to kind of pull it together have a good race this this week. I think he really just needs to keep it safe. Just have a race with no incidents and keep it on the track. He needs to do the Patrick Cantrell method of racing. He needs to head to the Patrick Cantrell race school. In 5th place, Jeff McDonald. Still second in the championship behind Nate Sides. Did say that he was struggling quite a bit in the practice sessions with this low track state with the Porsche. So we'll see him and Nate both in the same Porsche, same setup, same car. We'll see who can pull it together for a win tonight. 6th place, Landon Orr in that Omec Ferrari. Only half a second off Langdenberg. So the top 6, still a very tight field. And Nick Tyrrell joining us again in that Lamborghini. He's a trooper for driving it. I really do not like the Lamborghini. I think it's pretty rough to drive. And if there's any cars that I think will struggle on a low track state, you know, kind of tricky track, I think that is going to be one of them. So he will be one to look out for tonight as he gets around that Omec Porsche of Patrick Cantrell. And bringing up the rear currently in 8th place, John Kelly, Jeff McDonald's teammate. Also, I think looking for a clean race and try to make up some positions from last week. We are here, as I said, at Laguna Seca. It isn't used a lot in GT3 racing here on iRacing. I personally enjoy it in some of the slower cars. It's a little tight of a track for GT3 cars, but it should be a fun time. It's a fairly standard track. Of course, you have the corkscrew, which is that world famous corner. I think it goes down like 3 stories, something. It is extremely steep. So let's see. I'm going to try to find someone who is just coming across the line. We can go on board and watch a lap. Trying to get my bearings here. Looks like Tyler Langenberg is coming up to the second to last corner. Let's go in the cockpit view if he keeps out of the wall, and we will take a look at a flying lap from Langenberg. Got a little ways to go. Going through that the corkscrew right there. Now coming up second to last corner, and we'll be coming up to the last corner, which is a very tight left-hander, almost like a hairpin. And just as we go on board, he's coming into the pit. It's a very tricky pit entry. Most likely wanting to practice it, maybe getting new tires. Looks like he's just resetting his car. Very interesting. This is open qualifying. Usually you'd want to burn down your fuel and, you know, maybe come in, grab new tires, but not necessarily restart your car. Because you come in and restart your car like that, now you've got new cold tires, another half tank of gas. So you got to get out there, as you can see right there, get the car warmed back up, get the tires back up to temperature, and get yourself back in that rhythm. I'm not quite sure what the strategy was there, but he is still in first place, so maybe he knows something we don't. This looks like Nate Sides coming up to that last corner. We'll hop on board with him. Going down the main straight. Through turn 1 there, that quick kink to the left, barely a turn into the Andretti hairpin, which is a kind of challenging double apex hairpin, and it's kind of easy right there just to miss that last hairpin into turn 3. You want to be close on the edge there, but not hit that sausage curve, ride it all the way out to the edge. Coming up to turn 4, which is not as sharp as last turn, just kind of a lift and coast into there, maybe a little dab of brakes to get it rotated. Down this kind of kink straight here into turn 5, which is another left-hand sweeper there. You want to keep inside to stay in the camber, And turn 6 here is a very blind, fast left-hander through that dip, up the Rahal straight, coming up to corkscrew. And you can see here on the cockpit camera, completely blind until you come over the hill there. Hard left, and then just straight downhill. Very tricky corner. A very tricky corner to do fast. And a hard spot to pass. I have seen cars go too wide through there. I wouldn't say it's most efficient, but people will get it done. And then through the last corners here, turn 10, turn 11. Turn 11, very sharp left-hander here. You want to cut that corner as much as possible. And then run it out there on the exit. Previously, it was just recently changed by iRacing. Let's see if we can go back here. I'm gonna figure it out. There we go. We're gonna rewind. It's not the camera I'm looking for. Right here. We're gonna pause it here. Previously on iRacing, that green strip there right after the curb, if any part of your tires touched that, you would get an incident, which was very rough. So it was really rough to take this last turn 11 and actually get a good exit without getting a 1x and off track. It was very tricky, but since then, iRacing has updated the regulations a little bit, and as long as you keep 2 tires on that blue and white curbing there, you are good to go. So it's a much more natural corner, I would think now, and definitely a lot easier. Looks like we do still have Tyler Langenberg in first place with that 22.146. Doesn't look like he's able to improve his time, possibly because he reset and he's got that full tank of gas and those cold tires. Nate Sides is still 100th away, looking to make a better time. We'll see if he can make that happen as he comes across the line. And it doesn't look like it with a 122.556. Landon Orr, I think that means 660. Just trying to get it together. 6,000s behind sides, but we have Patrick Cantrell throwing up pole with a 122.112. That is exciting. He is really pushing that Porsche to the limits. And Patrick Cantrell, known for playing it safe and playing the long game, really getting out there and just throwing down a top time. With only 8 minutes left in qualifying, it will be interesting to see who's got their fuel burned down low enough, who's got those tires at the right temperature to try to get a faster time in there. Langenberg not far behind. There's our gap. Langenberg with 300ths to make up. Sides only 500ths behind Cantrell, and Orr only 5.5 500ths separate the top 4 cars in this qualifying session. This looks like very competitive times out there. And with a random safety car possible, this could end up looking like a pretty interesting race. And as I said, Bob Lindell out for the week. Maybe we might still see Chris Kraus. He's been here for every other race. We'll see if he is able to make it out here tonight. Just curious. We'll see if the temperature has risen in there, or how fast that is rising. It is not. I think that's dropped. I'm pretty sure it was 64 earlier. It's still 63. And a track temperature of only 67 degrees Fahrenheit. That is extremely cold for a track. So I think once those tires do come up to temperature, honestly, even with a low track state, it's still going to be a pretty a pretty crooked track once everything gets going. It looks like we have about 5 minutes left of qualifying. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will be right back with you. We're going to let these 5 minutes qualifying play out. And then we will be back here for 90 minutes of GT3 racing around Laguna Seca. So if you have it, it's your last chance. Use the restroom, grab a snack, grab a beverage, do what you need to do. I will be back with you in about 5 minutes. All right, everybody. It looks like qualifying is over, and we are gridded up, ready to start racing. There's going to be 8 GT3 cars tonight, lining up to race hard for 90 minutes and see who can come out on top. P1, his first pole position this season so far, Patrick Cantrell, with a 1 minute 22.112, knocking out last week's pole position race leader and race winner Tyler Langenberg. Knocked him down to P2, only 300ths behind. In third place, we have Nate Sides and the Team Rahal Porsche. Following up closely behind him, Landon Orr in that Omek Ferrari. P5, we have Jeff McDonald, not able to quite put it on pole this week, but hopefully, probably looking to have a clean race and looking to keep it together. In 6th place, up from 7th there, knocking down Nick Terrell in the very last couple minutes qualifying. Devin Adams in that Mercedes does not have the dynamic duo of him and Chris Kraus tonight, but hopefully he'll be able to bring that Mercedes up to a top finish. 7th place, Nick Terrell in the Lamborghini. You know how he races so far. Usually strong finisher if he can keep it out of trouble, and we'll see how it goes for him tonight. And then bringing up the rear, I think again, John Kelly in the Ninja Botanicals Porsche. Well, with that said, looks like we have about 5 seconds here before that pace car is off. There it is. And we'll start our very shortened pace lap to the start of this race. All of the cars will go on green. There could very well be a random caution sometime during the race. For those of you who hasn't seen the race before, we do have a 20 incident limit. After 20 incidents, drivers will have to do a drive-through, and we'll be keeping track of that tonight. But all 8 cars come up. There's the green flag, and they're off down the main straight, thundering down to turn 1. Looks like Patrick Cantrell might have got a little slow start. Nate Sides very close behind him. Langenberg taking it on the outside in that Ford, looking to keep his position, runs wide. Patrick Cantrell is able to keep first place through turn 1. Nate Sides right behind him in that Team Rahal Porsche, and looks like Langenberg is down to 3rd place in that Ford as they're going through turn 3. Turn 4 into turn 5, that fast right sweeper. Down the straight, and oh, Langenberg off in the back. Let's go see what happened with that. He just spun into the wall. Coming around, ooh, he hit that sausage curb and just couldn't keep it together. Got it woed down a little bit, but knocked his spoiler off in that impact and even damaged his front bumper a little bit. That is not going to be a happy Ford making his way back to the pits. That is pretty unfortunate. Let's take a look at that one more time in slow motion. Hold on. Just kidding. I don't remember how to do that, but I'll figure it out. But that is a bad spin. That's one thing about that Ford. It does not have a very forgiving suspension, and it is not good over the bumps. So you got that bump, bad suspension, cold tires, low track state. That's what happens. It's in the wall. Let's take a look. It looks like Patrick Cantrell went off the track. We'll see if there's anything serious. Coming into the corkscrew, goes a little bit wide, has to cut through the gravel, and that lets Nate Sides get around him. This was Jeff McDonald able to make the pass, sticking his nose on the inside. Ooh, we got a little contact there. Front wheel to rear wheel, gonna go too wide down to turn 10, and it looks like Patrick Cantrell is able to keep it in front coming through turn 11. He's got a couple cars maybe diving up on the inside trying to look a pass, but he's gonna hold him off down that main straight. That was looking a little hairy there. So it looks like Cantrell's knocked back to 2nd place. And Nate Sides able to pull it out 1st place. And so far has set the fastest lap of the race. So he is going to be pretty happy with himself coming up to corkscrew there. As he dives through, let's take a look. Looks like Landon Orr went off the track after a pass by Devin Adams. We'll replay here and see what happened. Looks like that's Devin Adams and Landon Orr too wide. Coming down the main straight. Coming up to, there's turn 1, the kink. Devin Adams gets past Orr. coming into the hairpin. We'll see if Orr kind of slips up and makes a mistake here through that second apex. Coming down into turn 4. Let's see where he went off the track. Oh no, that fast left kink right before the corkscrew. Looks like the Ferrari just stepped out on him. Those concerns of the low track state and slippery back end, looks like they might have been warranted. Looks like we had Tyler Langenberg in the pits and also Landon Orr in the pits. Yeah, we don't need to see that. They did go into the pits though. Langenberg and Orr are probably heading in there for their fast repair to get their cars back together. Now we do only have one fast repair this race, so they got to keep it together. We're 4 minutes in the race. They've already used their fast repair. Their car's already been crumpled into the wall, and they got to keep it together for an hour and 26 minutes. There's going to be the safety car. Maybe. We don't know. There might be a safety car. Hopefully, they can kind of use this as a pit stop, and maybe if the safety car is early enough, that'll kind of get them back up in the field. But it is definitely going to be an interesting race for them to try to make their way back up. Meanwhile, Nate Side's still in first place. Was just going to say he's still held on to the fastest lap. Looks like he almost got it, but he must have gotten off track there, so it didn't count. So Patrick Cantrell still holding on to the fastest lap, 22.275. But he does have a 2-second gap to Sides, and that looks like that is going to be building. Behind him, Jeff McDonald has moved his way up to 3rd place. Let's take a look. It says Langenberg went off the track again. Let's see what happened. Oh no. I thought he went into the pits and he would have used his fast repair, but it looks like he did not. Let's see what happened in the pit lane here. Let's take a look. Oh, he did not enter pit lane. He had just went off and kind of entered pit lane for a hot second. So it looks like he is really banking on trying to keep it together until there is a safety car, which is honestly a pretty smart move because Landon Orr did not stick around for the safety car. He's still out there running around. And he is 42 seconds. Well, 42 seconds off the leader. He's about 15 seconds behind Langenberg. So even if there is a safety car, Langenberg should be able to hop in there and hopefully keep track position or be just behind him. Looks like Sides was able to steal away that fastest lap time with a 22.999. Just snuck it in there. And that gap to Patrick Cantrell is building. It's up to 3.1 seconds now. But Cantrell doesn't like to make a lot of mistakes. He likes to just hang back there, put in his time, and race a good, solid, steady pace. But behind him, Jeff McDonald in that Ninja Botanicals Porsche is slowly hunting him down. He's looking, I would think, for some low revenge after last week, but he's going to be hopefully trying to get around Cantrell here in the next few laps or so. He is only about 1 second back from Cantrell. Let me get this figured out. Hold on. That's what I wanted. So we got Jeff McDonald still in 3rd place. Behind him, 4th place, Devin Adams, up 2 spots from qualifying. Only 2.5 seconds back from McDonald. Again, another driver out here looking to have a clean race. Hopefully he can get back into the action. The field did get a little spread out from all those off tracks, but things may get bunched up here in the future. Devin Adams has been on these broadcasts a couple times, is used to running in the back with some damage, but still finds himself up here in 4th place. If his connection comes back, ooh, Looks like his internet is getting a little spotty there. Hopefully that holds on him for the race. This is our racing driver from Aurora, Illinois, and is sponsored by Sharp Edge Racing. If you'd like to know some fun facts about Devin Adams, he claims to have the world record in sword swallowing and watermelon juggling. You heard it here first, folks. Behind him in P5, Nick Terrell in that black Lamborghini. Also up 2 spots from his qualifying. 2.9 seconds behind Adams. It looks like McDonald's did make a pass on Cantrell and he's tumbling down. Let's see what happens. That looks like a crash. There's the kink through the left hand coming down into the hairpin. Looking to hit that first apex, and there goes the back end of the Porsche. Really likes to snap out on you. It's just like a pendulum. Once you lose it, you're just never getting it back. And that is a shame. Just what I'm talking about. The man who doesn't make any mistakes has tumbled all the way back down to 4th. Was looking like a solid podium run for him. Was just gonna tuck his head down, keep going up there, but now it looks like he is gonna have to put in some work, and he has Terrell in that black Lamborghini behind him now putting pressure on him. So what was, I don't know, kind of a relaxing drive, now has a Lamborghini behind him that he has to keep back there. It's in his mirrors. We'll see what he can do. We'll see if he can hold it together. In fact, let's see if you can see the mirrors. If we go to the gyro cam, a little bit there. There's that rear view camera there. It looks like he's not super close yet, but you can just see those Lamborghini headlights behind him. Always there, always watching. Looks like Patrick Cantrell passed Devin Adams. Let's take a look. I don't know where. I think that's my computer freaking out a little bit. I don't think that's accurate at all. Devin Adams is still in 3rd place. I don't know what you're talking about, computer. It actually looks like he's pulling away from Terrell. He's got the pace in him tonight. John Kelly back here in 6th. 5 seconds back from Terrell, but 22 seconds ahead of Langenberg. I like his banner there. Get your ass moving? Or is it move? The world may never know. Tyler Langenberg, let's see if he's still missing that rear wing. He is. He is still crippling this car around with that rear wing. 23 seconds behind Kelly. And looks like that gap is gaining. He is hoping for a safety car any moment. But behind him, earlier we thought it was a bad idea that Orr took that pit stop, but now we have Orr in a very clean looking shiny Omeg Ferrari very quickly bearing down on Tyler Langenberg in that injured Ford. I'm sure he is just looking. Oh no, and there goes Tyler Langenberg again in the oh, and he's spinning again. Let's take a look. Ooh, yeah, that's a very fast left-hand corner there after the corkscrew, and if you don't have any downforce in the back of your car because your spoiler got ripped off, you're gonna have a hard time there. Let's take a look. When you come down this corkscrew here, the corkscrew already scary enough, but you got to come down this fast left-hand corner, and it's in the camber for a little bit, but then he just let off the gas to make a little correction, and that's all it took for that back end to swing around. But it looks like he did throw out the anchors. He got it on the brakes, kept it out of the wall, but then on that unfortunate spin again there, trying to get it righted around. The seconds are just ticking by as poor Tyler Langenberg tries to get that car straightened out. That was very brutal to watch. Looks like that did give Orr the 7th place position. He's got 24 seconds to John Kelly, hoping, I'm sure, that he can get some of that counted down. before the first round of pit stops run out here. Jeff McDonald went off track. Ooh, just stepped out a little bit there, but that is all that takes. And Devin Adams will be hopping right on that mistake and will definitely be right behind him. We're looking to get a draft here. Coming through this fast left-hander, you really just have to kind of let off the brakes. And there's another one in the wall. That's Nate Sides. Oh no. What happened to Mr. Nate Sides? Off track. Coming around that fast kink, and the back end of the Porsche just stepped out. Ooh, just kissed that tire barrier. He got that slowed down just in time. Interesting enough, ladies and gentlemen, he put that Porsche into the tire barrier just entering the Rahal straight. So I don't know if that car is cursed, but he's going to have some work to do now. It looks like no one is safe during this race. Everyone thinks they're just going to have a nice, smooth race. Something ends up happening to them. But we're back in the cockpit of Devin Adams, who's looking down that Porsche of Jeff McDonald. He's coming through the hairpin, that tricky double apex here. Coming up to these next set of right-hand corners, this is turns 4 and 5. You really got to keep it smooth, keep it through there. Running out as wide as possible. This one's even faster, just a little lift, maybe dab of brakes, then get on the gas. But you don't want to run too wide like that there through the gravel. You're really going to strub your speed coming down the straight here into this very fast left-hander. Again, keep it tight, but don't hit that sausage curb, or that is going to ruin your day. And then back up here to this very fast left-hand kink. You really want to suck it through there in the camber, but don't lose it and put it in the wall there, so you can make your way cleanly up the Rahal straight into the corkscrew. Really hard on the brakes, navigating that tricky corner, almost completely blind. And then you want to come down this fast left-hander, get it in the camber, and then goes off the camber on the exit, and you want to get it lined back up for this right-hander of turn 10, right to the apex there, and then back to the right of the track for turn 11. Hard on the brakes. You want to cut the inside, but don't hit that sausage curb. Get on the power for the main straight. I think it's going to be kind of tricky for him to catch Jeff McDonald, because Jeff is in that Porsche. And I always say it, but if there's one thing the Porsche's good at, it's corner exit, because he's got that big engine hanging way over those rear wheels. And when you come out of that corner and you hit the gas, that rear end just squats down, and you have so much grip. It's almost like a cheat code. I think Nate Sides might have went off the track again. Let's take a look. Nick Terrell got around him. Not bad. Let's see what the pass looks like. Oh, that was the pass from earlier. Wait, what's this one? Wow, my thing's screwing with me again. Alright, we're back. Back to Devin Adams. Honestly, I don't think he's catching Jeff McDonald in that Porsche. He is slowly pulling away. 1.2 seconds, but he is sitting in P2. This would be a podium for the man from Illinois, if he can hold it together. But everyone else who has been up here on podium so far has not been able to hold it together. So hopefully he can just concentrate on a clean race and try not to crash. Good luck, Devin Adams. But behind him, there's going to be trouble, because Cantrell has made his way back up to third and is looking to hunt down Devin Adams. 2.5 seconds behind. He's going to see what he can do. He has successfully kept off Nick Terrell in the Lamborghini, which is the loudest car on the service. But look there in the mirrors of Nate Sides and that Team Rahal Porsche. You see that in that screen there? It gets close. That messes with you. When you go in that braking zone, you're going around the corner, it's hard not to just stare at that screen, at that kind of menacing front bumper behind you, because Nate Sides only 3/10 of a second in the corner behind him, looking to make up some ground. Now they'll be coming up to the straight through the fast left-hand kink there onto the Rahal straight. Nate Sides will be looking not to spin out in the tires, I'm sure. And it looks like Terrell gets on the gravel. That's going to slow down his exit. This side's going to try to throw it up on the inside, too wide through the corkscrew. He's not going to, but he is going to stay right on the bumper of Terrell there as they come down through the corkscrew into that left-hander of turn 9, and they're going to go down to turn 10. Still keeping about 0.4 of a second gap. Almost getting on the gravel there on the exit into that sharp left-hander of turn 11. Sides is hoping to get a good exit. He's using the entire track width almost on the gravel there. He's going to try to tuck in and use that draft of Terrell up the straight. It looks like he is gaining on him. We'll see if he tries to make a move down into turn 1. Hard on the brakes. Doesn't look like he's going to try to get a move done, but he is going to stick there on that bumper. We're 19 minutes into the stint, so he may not even be trying to make a move. He may be trying to use Terrell for some good fuel saving and maybe try to extend his stint another lap. We will see. But down there, 2/10, he's gaining on him. Any moment, looking to make a pass. Thinking about showing his nose on the inside, but I don't think he's going to do it. Up here, it's a very short track, ladies and gentlemen. We're already back to this fast left-hander here. Showing his nose on the inside a little bit. Just trying to scare him a little bit, but they're coming up here, up the Rahal straight, into the corkscrew. And I think he is just going to bide his time. Devin Adams got past Jeff McDonald's. Let's see what happened. Oh, sent it on the outside of the corkscrew. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Can't believe it. Let's take another look at that. Coming up on the score through. Coming on the outside. No fear. Ooh, they both start braking, and he says, I will take that. Thank you very much. He's got that bumper and that camera, but what a beautiful pass. That puts Devin Adams, the man from Illinois, in first place for the first time this season. That Mercedes is looking pretty strong on this track. Up 5 spots from his qualifying time, mind you. Coming through that fast left sweeper there into a corner. That's that left-hander coming up the Rahal straight. Back up to the corkscrew again. Fast lap. Always a fast lap. Coming down through the corkscrew. Looks like he's going to keep it. And that is our man, Devin Adams, in first place. Cantrell not far behind McDonald. Only 1.6 seconds. Still a solid entry there in P3. He's looking to maintain his position. Nate Sides getting a little, past Nick Terrell. Coming around the final corner. He was getting a little squirrely there on the dirt. Let's just take a look at that real quick. Then we'll come right back to the action. Comes around, nicks it on the gravel, and then tries to get around him on the outside, but Nick Terrell's going to hold that defensive line on the inside and make him go the long way around and get a better exit on that main straight. But Nate Sides through the first hairpin there. Nick Terrell on the gravel, trying to hold it together. Trying to fight off that Porsche behind him. Again, takes a little defensive line. On the gravel again. I don't know if those tires are wearing out or the pressure's getting to him. I don't know what's happening, but he is struggling to keep that Lamborghini on the track, and Nate Sides is not letting up the pressure one bit. He's going to stay right there in that draft. Beautiful racing. Coming up here to the left-hand kink, leading onto the Rahal straight once again. Will we see Sides make a move, possibly into the corkscrew? Looks like it just goes a hair wide there. Coming in the corkscrew. No move to be made, but I think he has got to be getting a little frustrated trying to get behind Terrell there. It looked like that was the perfect time, but he just didn't have it down the back straight. A little bit of weaving action there through turn 10. Almost too wide there. Coming on turn 11. Here is where it's got. Nate Side's going to try to get a good exit. Going to try to stick to the back of that Lamborghini. It looks like he's got it. He's going to tuck in that draft. Will he try to send it on turn 1? Try to send a move. Looks to the outside, and Terrell is going to let him on by. Pulls over. Lets him have it. He says, listen, I'm obviously not going to be able to keep you behind me, so I'm going to tuck in and let's save some fuel. I think that's probably what's going on. Tyler Langenberg crashed. Let's take a look. Coming up to that fast left-hand kink up to the Rahal straight. No spoiler. Damaged car. And the back end just comes around. Keeps it out of the wall. Ooh, almost keeps it out of the wall. Beautiful. Beautiful driving. That is a pretty rough car to drive tonight. After such a beautiful showing last week, sweeping everyone, really struggling tonight. He is 30 seconds off the back of Orr. Just has to be hoping for a safety car intervention of some sort. That Ford's a trooper, though. Has taken several beatings, still on the track. No meatball. Who even needs a spoiler? I wonder if he uses less gas for that spoiler. Although I don't know if that back bumper digging into his back tire is going to be helping his fuel mileage at all. Let's see if we can take a look at that. Not that one. This one? Not what I was looking to see, but he is still keeping it together. We are at 24 minutes. The first round of pit stops should be happening here in the next 6 minutes or so. Looks like we got our man Devin Adams still in first place. He's got McDonald half second behind him, and Cantrell less than a second behind McDonald. He has just been slowly making up ground, and this is what this man does. This is how he races. Slowly but surely makes his way back to the front. Behind him, Nate Sides, after getting around Terrell, is starting to eat that gap at Cantrell a little bit. It's down to 2.5 seconds. Probably looking to make that at least a second and a half by the time the first pit stops rolls around. Now you see that gap, 2.5 seconds. That's just one bad pit entry, or maybe getting on the pit speed limiter a little too early. It's pretty easy to eat up 2 seconds in a pit stop if you're not careful. You can so much as pull into the left side of the pit stop too much. Your pit crew has to scoot over there a little bit to get the tires changed. As long as you're within a couple seconds, there's definitely room for some margin of error in the pit stops, and I think that's what Nate Sides is definitely going to be hoping for. Nick Tyrrell in that Lamborghini definitely was struggling there because he is now fallen 3.5 seconds off of Sides. He's either trying to do some major tire saving, fuel saving, or he's just struggling to find a little pace out there. John Kelly 10 seconds behind him. Still keeping himself ahead of Orr and Langenberg. Pretty clean race comparatively. Only 3 incidents. Still got a pretty clean Porsche out there looking to make it happen. He's, again, 2 spots up from qualifying, running a pretty good race. Or still back here in 7th place. Kind of a shame to see, because beside that one incident, you see he's only at 3x there. So from that one crash, he has ran a super clean race since then, kicking up a little bit of gravel there. But this means as long as this keeps it up, he could still find himself in contention for a podium. Who knows? Anything could happen as long as he keeps it clean. There is still over an hour left of racing. And these 2 up the front, these 3 up at the front are still fighting. Cantrell even closer to McDonald. You'll be curious to see if he's going to try to get a move done before the pit stops, or maybe he'll try to undercut him and get around him in the pits. Besides Nate Sides, he is the next fastest driver with a lap time of 122.096 and has the least amount of incidents. He's only sitting there at 2x. So by far the cleanest driver of the pack this evening, and almost the fastest. Not quite, but he is making his way there. He is having to deal with this traffic in front of him as we watch the 3 Porsches hunt down the Mercedes. Honestly, I'm rooting for the Mercedes. I'm not a big Porsche fanboy, so I like to see when another car kind of sticks it to him. Porsche. I always say it wrong. It's not a Porsche. It's Porsche, everyone. But these 3 Porsches are not letting Devin Adams and that Mercedes, not letting him off early. He is having to stay on top of his game. He's having to concentrate. He's having to keep it all together. It looks like Tyler Langenberg entered pit lane. And he has had it, waiting for the safety car. Patrick Cantrell passed Jeff McDonald. Let's see how that happened. Ooh, diving into turn 11, making the move to get a good run up the back straight, and that is going to get Nate Sides the run on Jeff McDonald's there. What a beautiful move. Let's just take a look at that one more time. Absolutely sends it up the inside. A little bit of contact. Let's look at that from the cockpit point of view. Rewind. What a pass. Coming through turn 10 here. Amazing. McDonald must have braked early for Devin, and he just sends it up the inside. A little bit of bump, nothing terrible. Nothing serious. Down the main straight, and that is able to take it. He won. Beautiful. I think he heard me talking trash about him just kind of being safe and consistent in the last broadcast, and he has turned it all the way up to 11. What a pass. And now Devin Adams, if he thought he had trouble fighting off Jeff McDonald, he's now going to have to fight off Cantrell in that Porsche, who I think has a much higher pace. He was over almost 5 seconds behind Devin Adams. And has made his way all the way up, closed the gap now, 0.6 of a second. Meanwhile, Sides is back there behind McDonald. It was only 0.2 of a second there. Just a lot of close racing. I'm sure McDonald's is a little frustrated that Cantrell got around him, but he's doing his best to keep Sides behind him. I would say either this lap or next lap, they're going to have to be coming in for a pit stop, and this is going to be a very close pit. Looks like Tyler Langenberg had a 21-second pit time, so he did not take any tires, just fuel, and I'm assuming a fast repair. Yep, that's a beautifully repaired car right there. Nate Sides all over the back of Jeff McDonald in that Porsche. And McDonald has fallen 1.5 seconds behind, and there is Nate Sides diving in the pits along with Devin Adams. Patrick Cantrell and Jeff McDonald stay out there. Let's see if these two decide to take tires or if they're going to hold out. Both into the pit stops. Devin Adams does take tires, surprisingly, but it looks like Nate Sides is not going to take any tires. Interesting. We'll see who gets out of here first. How much longer the tires actually take. So when we come out of that pits, Devin Adams is going to have that fresh set of tires. He's going to have to get warmed up. And looks like Sides is able to get out of there just that little bit quicker, but he's going to be able to use tires, and he's going to have Devin in that Mercedes behind him on very fresh tires. Now Devin is going to have to make those, Adams is going to have to make those tires last another hour through the race, and we'll have to see how that goes for him. I'm guessing we're going to see Cantrell, McDonald, Terrell, Kelly, and Orr all pit this lap. It looks like they were able to extend it one more, and there is Cantrell diving into the pit lane. McDonald is staying out another lap. Now that's impressive. He must have really been saving fuel. That's why he was kind of falling behind. Again, Terrell also staying out another lap, I think hoping for a safety car. And we'll see if Orr comes in the pit. Although he did have a wreck, so he's probably going to be staying out. John Kelly did also enter the pit lane. Patrick Cantrell, let's see if, I don't think he's going to take tires. Looks like just gas for him. We'll see how long this pit stop is as he waits. And he's off. with a 22-second pit stop. Let's bring these pit times up and see what was what. Looks like Science had the quickest pit stop so far of a 102.3. Let's get back to the right camera. Now Jeff McDonald and Nick Tyrrell, I imagine, have to be coming into the pits this lap. If they don't, we're gonna have to get some marshals out there to check how much gas they got in those cars. Yep, there's McDonald coming in, and I will be curious to see if he takes any tires. And there's Nick Tyrrell behind him, that Lamborghini with those rally car looking headlights. This is a pretty long pit lane. It looks like he is not going to take tires either. And Nick Tyrrell also not taking tires on that Lamborghini. So Devin Adams, only one here to take tires so far. And we'll see what shakes out when everything's said and done here. Now Orr is back in the lead of the race. Let's get back to the right cameras. Now this man is probably going to be hoping for some type of a safety car soon. He crashed a few laps in the race, probably about 5-10 minutes in the race, so he's got another 5-10 minutes. He can keep running around without fuel. And a safety car at this time would be very beneficial for our man Orr here in the Omek Ferrari. And we will see if he gets his race or not. Gets his race, gets his wish. Behind him, shaking out Nate Sides, P2, 5 seconds behind Orr, but he has Cantrell behind him, hunting him down 0.4 of a second. Looking to make a move, both on used tires, both in equal machinery. Gonna see what they can do. Devin Adams behind him did take tires in the pit, so it probably took him a couple laps to get those tires warmed up. And he's hopefully, once he gets temperature back on those tires, gets the hang of everything, is going to get caught back up to those two. But he has an hour to nurse those tires along. So I don't know if we're going to see him be able to make his way back up into the podium or not. Hopefully he didn't pull a Ferrari strategy. We are going to see. Looks like Nate Sides is coming up to Langenberg, the back marker. We will see if anyone hits 20x, there will be a drive-through penalty tonight, and Langenberg is up there at 9, and that would make his day go from bad to worse, let me tell you. Already 55 seconds off the back of the pack. And he's looking to keep those incidents down, but he's got a new car now, so hopefully he'll be able to hold it together. Let's see the pass. Devin Adams passed Jeff McDonald for P4. Let's take a look when that happened. Oh, looks like it was just out of the pit lane. That was pretty close, though. That was a lot of fuel saving, and I don't think it really helped McDonald out, although he will be able to extend his next stints. We'll have to see how it plays out at the end. Well, endurance racing, there is always an hour. There's an hour and a half of racing, so things will be shaken up a lot. We're back to Orr is still leading the race, and looks like he finally did have to pit, which is unfortunate. He did not get that safety car. I am assuming he was holding out for. Interesting though. Let's see if he takes tires. As there's less than an hour remaining now, he could. It does look like his back wing might be a little tweaked there. Or maybe that's just how the Ferrari wing is. He is going to take tires. It looks like his pit crew has some new Omek suits to match the car, which I think looks pretty snazzy. Patrick Cantrell, the man in second place, is also the man behind all of these paints. Our pit crew paints, the helmets, the suits, the cars, that's all him, and they are looking pretty great. It looks like his car shuts off. I think he's probably taking some repairs. Interesting move. It didn't look like the car was driving that bad. It seems kind of crazy that he would turn it off and make those repairs, but that's what he's gonna do. Interesting. Well, that puts our man Nate Sides back in first place. Still behind Tyler Langenberg. I think Langenberg is going to be a little disappointed because it looks like he's got the pace to stay out there in front of Sides. But he just had that accident that kind of took it all away from him. All right, I'm gonna leave you to the action here for a little bit. I'm gonna take a small intermission, and I will be back within 5 to 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. There's a lot of racing still to come. Possible safety car intervention in the works, and we'll see what happens. Alright everyone, we are back, and this battle between McDonald and Adams has definitely been heating up. It's been very interesting. I think it's because Adams and McDonald, I gotta get my S's right. I think it's because Adams is on new tires, but McDonald is on those old tires. So Adams definitely has the advantage of keeping him behind him. But McDonald, I think, knows this. He knows his tires are getting old, but I think he's just playing the waiting game. He's going to keep himself behind Devin because he knows the next time they pit, not only is McDonald going to be able to stretch his pit out because he pitted a good 3 laps after Devin. He's going to come out in fresh tires, and Devin is going to have an old set of tires that he's probably burned up trying to keep McDonald behind him. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that shakes out after the pit stop. Like right there, I think McDonald probably could have sent it on the inside, but I think he's being patient and he's biding his time. Adams does look like he might be trying some defensive lines, but not really. He's not driving too defensively. He's doing his race. He's looking to try to keep a podium. But that's looking a little more difficult as time goes on. Ooh, looks like McDonald just got a poor exit off that kink back there, just as I was saying something. And that put him back almost a whole second. That's all it takes. You know, he got the tires. He did extend that stint, so he's going to be running over an hour on one set of GT3 tires, and they're going to be getting, I would have to imagine, pretty low by the end of this, and that's going to start to be a problem for him, especially as he has Tyrrell coming up behind him, still 2.5 seconds back, but still something to worry about. It's interesting though, Adams, even with his new tires, still not able to keep up with Cantrell, who has pulled an 8.5 second gap on him. But even farther up the chain, Cantrell, 2.5 second gap up to Sides. So Sides has really kicked into gear. He had that mistake. He's not going to let it happen again. But the real interesting thing also is that he's not able to get ahead of Langdenberg. So if Langdenberg would have just kept it in the race and not had that mistake, that bump on the edge, he would have been in a real fast car in first place. But that Ford is just like on a razor's edge. Kind of like a Red Bull F1 car. Like, it's on a razor's edge. If you drive it and don't make any mistakes, it's a fast car. But if you make one little mistake, it's going to bite you and it's going to send you into the wall. And you're going to be running around in last place, which is a little disappointing. He's still only 2 seconds out the back of Laura, though. So he might be able to make his way up to 7th if he plays his cards right. Sides still holding on to the fastest lap, 121.92. Sides back in first place and is still our championship leader. I'm going to go over the official standings. As our man here, Nate Sides, is still in first place with 234 points, but closely followed up Jeff McDonald in second place. My screen went away. I apologize. There it is. Jeff McDonald in second place with 233 points. Only 1 point separating these two after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races. There is only 1 point separating first and second place still. Very close. Championship is still very much up for grabs. In third place, Landon Orr, even though he's sitting in 7th right now, we do have 3 drop weeks. So you can have 3 bad races. You can still be in it for the championship. That's the exciting part. He's sitting in third place at 214 points. A little bit of a gap for McDonald, but just behind him, our man John Kelly, back here running in 6th, is sitting in 4th place at 212 points. So he's only 2 points behind Landon. So the fact that they're both back there, that's still going to be very close. They're still in the running. Patrick Cantrell is back in 5th place at 208 points. So he's probably looking for a really good showing here. 2nd place is going to get him some good points. He's probably looking to, if he can snatch that fastest lap, that will help him catch up to Sides. But this is going to be a good catch up for Mr. Cantrell if he can hold it together. Behind Cantrell is Bob Lindell with 200 points, and he's not here today, so that's going to knock him down. But that will just be a drop week for him. Devin Adams is all the way back in 7th. Our man Devin Adams. There he is, still holding it down. 3rd place. I thought he was in 4th. He must not have been. Don't know what I'm smoking. But he's in 3rd. He's still holding on the podium. Now, see, Jeff McDonald, you can tell the age of his tires because he's really starting to fall back now. He was holding on 2, 3 tenths, 5 tenths behind Adams, but now he's all the way back there, 1.2 seconds behind. And this is where that new tire rule comes into effect. You can only change your tires once. Devin Adams threw those new tires on. He's got the grip. He's good to go. Jeff McDonald, not only did he not take tires, but he also extended his stint. He didn't pit until, let me see, I will tell you exactly when Mr. McDonald pitted. He pit at 36 minutes. So if this next stint lasts him another 36 minutes, I'm not a math whiz, but I'll figure this out. I'll tell you. His next pit won't be until an hour and 12 minutes into the race. And I know from experience that after an hour, these new GT3 tires, it was a new tire model a couple updates ago with iRacing. After about an hour, they're going to be worn out. So if he was really using them up, trying to get around Devin Adams, he was burning up a lot of tire that he doesn't really have to burn out. And now this is Devin Adams' chance to really pull a gap as Nick Terrell coming up too wide down to turn 1, easily gets around him, sends it up the inside. I think Jeff McDonald is really having a tire issue right now. Nick Terrell also didn't take any tires, so he's on the same age of tires as Jeff McDonald, but he, I think, has been managing them better. He hasn't been fighting. He hasn't been getting up anything. He's just kind of been hanging back there, running his own race. And that has put him up into 4th place. Jeff McDonald falling behind. You know, I don't think... I was going to say Devin Adams was kind of having a Ferrari strategy moment for taking those tires, but actually I think that's what's kept him in front of McDonald. That's the shakeup I was not expecting. Tyler Langenberg entered pit lane. Let's see if it was on purpose. It was on purpose. This pit entry is super tight. You really got to get it around there. And then right after that corner is the pit speed limit. So he's coming in for his 2nd pit stop of the night. Looking to get some fuel. If there's any safety car that happens now, he will be good to go, I assume. Let's go back to live. So yeah, Jeff McDonald definitely falling back down the ranks, and Devin Adams is able to pull away. Look at like building a 3-second gap behind him, and I think he's gonna be happy with that. He's really put his head down this race and just had a very clean race. I don't know about super clean. He is at 11x. He's only 9 away from giving himself a drive-through, and that is going to knock him all the way down to the back. So I think he needs to focus on keeping it between the white lines and not picking up any more of those X's. Cantrell, unfortunately, is falling behind sides. 4.2 seconds now. I don't think he's really even trying to catch up with him. But it does look like maybe the Porsches have a little higher tire degradation, because he also did not take tires. It looks like Devin Adams is in the pits along with Jeff McDonald. Interesting. Let's take a look. Let's keep an eye on him. We know Devin Adams can't take any more tires, but Jeff McDonald is going to take tires. I'm thinking Jeff McDonald. Here's my thinking of his strategy. He extended that last pit stop as much as possible, and now has pitted the same exact time as Devin Adams. So he's only 24 minutes into the stint, so he's taken way less fuel than Devin Adams is going to take, which is going to completely cover the time it's going to for him to take those tires. I'm wrong though. Devin Adams still got out of there before him. Jeff McDonald's on fresh tires, but Devin Adams gets out of there. What a quick pit stop. That's the thing. If you're not directly in your pit box, like if you're a little to the left, a little to the right, a little too far forward, your pit stop is a little longer than usual. So I think Devin Adams got in his pit just perfectly, and is still able to be 2.6 seconds ahead of McDonald. But McDonald does have fresh tires now. Now this is a problem for Devin. Devin's on old tires. There still could be a safety car coming out before the end of the race, and that's going to put McDonald right behind Devin with new tires, and Adams is going to be on old tires, and I don't think he's going to have a very fun time. So this last 28 minutes of the race is going to get a little shaky. That's their last 2 pit stops of the race, and we'll see what happens there. Nate Sides, Patrick Cantrell still stretching it out, probably still hoping for a free pit stop, but we'll see. Cantrell's still 5.4 seconds behind, but running in second. Nick Terrell up to P3, still also hasn't pitted, probably hoping for the safety car. He's really making those tires last. He really shouldn't pit, I would assume, for at least another 10 minutes. It looks like John Kelly has pitted. This will probably be his final pit stop for the race. It looks like Sides is into the pits. Should be taking tires. Let's get on the pit stop camera. Oh no, Jeff McDonald crashed. Let's see what happened. Coming out of the hairpin. Into turn 4. Oh no, it looks like he just caught that gravel, and that's going to swing him around. Everything... Ooh, I was going to say everything being said, at least he didn't hit the wall, but he almost hit the wall. Got on the brakes. He kept his car with no damage, but that puts him very far behind Devin. Looks like Nick Giro passed Nate Sides. Nate Sides in the pits. Let's get these pit times back up on the board. Your column there is the pit times. Nate Sides with the 21.7. And Adams 21.3. Adams had an extremely quick pit stop time there. That he needs to give his pit crew a raise, because that was beautiful. Nate Sides with a 21.7. Cantrell and Tyrrell have not pitted yet. Probably hoping for a safety car. McDonald has slipped back to 5th. Yeah, slipped back to 5th from that wreck. He's 15 seconds behind Adams now, and that's not good. Looks like Cantrell's diving into the pits. He's definitely going to be taking tires. Safety car did not work out for these guys like they thought it would. It's probably pretty disappointing for them, but we should see Cantrell come in here, and his car will pop up for tires. Who is really banking on a safety car is Nick Terrell. He's probably got about 8 minutes. This is a great view I have that on. You can't see anything. There we go. His car is up in the air. It's getting tires. And we will see how long his pit is. But if there was ever a man to benefit from a safety car, it would be Nick Tyrrell. I'm sure he is saving as much gas as possible, trying to make that happen. And it looks like Cantrell is out of there with 22.3. I don't know if that's his actual pit stop time or it still has to update. We will definitely be taking a look at that. Yeah, 22.3. Kind of a long pit stop time there. We were saying last race that he needs to get a better pit crew, and I think that's still true. 22.3 is pretty long. Devin Adams with the quickest pit stop of the night. Still in 4th place, though. Tyrrell and the nondescript black Lamborghini still holding it down in 1st place. With only 24 minutes left to go in the race. And I think about 6 minutes until he has to pit again. I think he was on the same pit schedule as Jeff McDonald. Jeff pitted early, hoping to get an advantage with the fuel and the tires, but his pit crew could just not make it happen with that 22.2 second. Almost a full second slower than Adams. That's got to be pretty disappointing, honestly. Nate Side still holding it together there with the fastest lap. Putting in clean laps. New tires finally got around Langenberg. Langenberg just has to be heartbroken, I swear. Cantrell, 7.8 seconds behind Sides. It's not looking like he's going to make up any ground. Looks like he's just hoping for a nice solid 3rd place. Devin Adams back here in 4th, 21 seconds behind Cantrell. It's honestly pretty spread out. I think it would take a miracle for him to catch up to Cantrell now, because Cantrell is on new tires. Adams, once again, still on those old tires. I don't know what he's really going to be able to do. Behind him, McDonald. See, now there's McDonald on the new tires. That's a Porsche on new tires and a Mercedes on old tires. He was 15 seconds behind. He has closed that gap to 6 seconds. And it looks like Nick Tyrrell has finally dived into the pit lane. And it looks like the safety car did not benefit anyone this evening. If there is going to be one. We don't know. We don't know. Who knows? It looks like there goes Sides past Tyrrell on the pit stop. Cantrell is also going to get around him. Adams is really going to be hoping to get ahead of Tyrrell. It's going to be very close coming out of this pit exit. It's not the entry. Adams is going to be coming up the straight right now. And no, still a full 10 seconds behind him. That's pretty disappointing. 10 seconds behind Tyrrell. And McDonald is closing the gap 4 seconds behind Adams. If he doesn't make another mistake, you never know. Landon Orr holding it down in 6th place. Didn't have a lot of good luck tonight. And we got John Kelly in 7th. And Tyler Langenberg holding it down in 8th place. Oh man. It looks like there's probably going to be a yellow, but my command to throw this did not work, so hold on one moment. We'll fix this. Just
the yellow flag is out.
And there's the yellow flag, ladies and gentlemen. That is the yellow flag everyone was probably hoping for. Unfortunately, it came after everyone's pit stops, which is pretty unfortunate. Definitely, if I was someone like Devin Adams right now, I would probably be sweating a little bit. Because he is definitely on the oldest tires out there. And this is going to bunch everyone up. If I were him, I don't know. I might even think about diving in when the pits open up for new tires. You never know. This is Laguna Seca. We are in California, so fortunately there are no gators on the track. There looks to be some wildlife of some sort. Officials don't really know what it is. Maybe some sort of lizard type creature, some sort of desert dweller. We're not sure. We do have a scientist on the way to figure out what it is, but in the meantime, the safety car is out. It is a yellow flag, and Devin Adams just barrels to the gravel there in the corkscrew for another incident at 13x. He's 7 incidents away from giving himself a drive-through in the last 19 minutes of the race, and let me tell you, that is not what he wants to happen. This looks like Nate Sides has got up to the safety car here, and we will be pacing for a lap. We'll be pacing for a lap. After that, there will be, the pits will open. If anyone wants to make a pit stop, I can't imagine that anyone does want to make a pit stop. But you never know. So it looks like it's going to be about 3 laps of the safety car. Landed or crashed. Let's see if that really is a crash. I can't imagine he crashed. We're behind a safety car. What's he doing? Did he run out of gas? I heard the... Did he tow? Why did he tow? Did he run out of gas? When's the last time he pitted? Let's look. Hold on. Oh no, I think he I think he might have ran out of gas. Was he holding out for a safety car the whole time? Let's rewind. We're gonna figure this out. Yeah, because his pit stops were off. Let's see. The pit stop would be closed right now, so he can't pit if he needs to. He's definitely shifting like he's trying to save gas. Oh no, it's cutting out. Oh no. Oh, he's out of gas. He's out of gas and he had to tow. That is so unfortunate. That's gotta be really disappointing for him. Wow. He almost made it. He just had to make it one last lap. If he would have saved just a tiny bit more fuel, that is very upsetting. That would have thrown him, man, right back into contention. He was trying. He was trying his best. Looks like everyone else is just following safety car here. We might have a few people dive into the pits. I'm not sure. But it looks like we will have a couple more laps. If someone does dive in the pits, we'll come back to the action. I'm going to take another short break here while we're watching the safety car pit around. But stick around. We'll be back. A couple more laps. 3-4 minutes, we'll be back in the action. And I will be back to commentate you to the end of the race. Alright folks, looks like this is it. That was the pace car coming in. This is Nate Sides at the lead of the race. And there's the green flag and we're off. Thundering down the straight, coming to turn 1. Let's get a better camera angle. Hold on, there we go. Nate Sides and Patrick Cantrell coming into turn 1. Nick Tiro looking to make a move on Patrick Cantrell. Sneaks it up the inside and takes P2. But not quite there, side by side, too wide. Coming into turn 3, and Nick Terrell's off on the dirt, and I completely missed the action because I am terrible at my job. But Patrick Cantrell managed to keep P2, but Nick Terrell is right behind him. Jeff McDonald goes around Devin Adams, unfortunately, because he's got those new tires, and Devin Adams is just left to be a sitting duck with those old tires in this pack of everyone with new tires. It is looking like it's kind of turning out to be a Ferrari strategy, unfortunately. But Sides is off to the races, first place. Cantrell holding on to second. Almost lost it there. Tyrrell's getting a little ballsy, setting it up on the inside. He's sitting there in third. He's not done with them yet. Looks like Devin is back up to fourth. Jeff McDonald went off the track. Let's see what happened there. Ooh, just ran a little too wide. That made John Kelly slow down, and that let Devin Adams slide back in. That was beautiful. Let's see that. Comes around, capitalizes on that. John Kelly flinched for just a second. Devin Adams was not going to let that go. He took that opportunity, kept it to the floor, and got around him before the corkscrew. He is back in fourth place. Jeff McDonald now has to get around Tyler Langenberg and John Kelly to make his way back up to Devin Adams to try to take back fourth place. But he only has about 10, 11 minutes to get that move done. That is really unfortunate. That was a really bad place to have that happen. So it looks like Devin Adams still trying to hold on for fourth place. Tyrrell still half a second behind Cantrell. Probably looking to make a move. Both on kind of the same age of tires, but I have a feeling that the Porsche probably has a little worse tire wear. So I am guessing that Tyrrell has the advantage on tires, and he's going to try to get a move done here in these last 10 minutes. Devin Adams is going to be super excited that happened to Jeff McDonald, I think. I don't know, but Nick Tyrrell sticking to the back of Cantrell, not going to let him get away. He's going to stay in his mirrors. He's going to try to force a mistake. There is 10 minutes left in these 90 minutes, and I would have not thought that Sides would be back in first place, Cantrell in second, and Tyrrell in third, and our man Devin Adams in fourth place. It has been quite the shakeup. Looks like Jeff McDonald was able to get around his teammate John Kelly. Let's see how that happened. Getting it done in the corkscrew. I think his teammate backed out a little bit for him, but that's how it goes. Back to the action. Oh, Nick Tyrrell in the gravel. Whew. That was crazy. He almost lost it, and that lets Devin Adams get around him for third place. Devin Adams, poor tire strategy all around, still back into third. He has Langenberg behind him, but Langenberg's a lap down, so that doesn't really matter. He capitalized on that mistake, and he is back in a podium. Let's take a look at that again. Nick Tyrrell coming around that fast. King just gets it in the gravel, trying to extend that track as much as possible, trying to send it up on Cantrell and make that pass work to get it for third, but that one slip up put him in the gravel, and Devin Adams is now sitting on a podium. And now Devin Adams, the man from Illinois, has to keep his shit together for 8.5 minutes, and he's going to bring that Mercedes home for a podium. He's got Tyrrell closing down a second behind him, but that's going to be perfect for him because Tyrrell is going to hold McDonald back too, because McDonald is also faster than Adams. Everything could not have worked out more perfectly for Adams. He's got Langenberg behind him. He's got Tyrrell holding off McDonald. What an incident. That goes to show you anything could happen. There's 90 minutes. Even these last 9 minutes of the race, anything could happen. I thought Adams was going to fall all the way to the back on his old tires, but here he is sitting P3 looking for a podium. As long as he can keep those incidents under 20, he is up to 13, and that's pretty high up there. But we do have Tyrrell and McDonald still chasing him down. They're not going to let him off easy. And looks like Langenberg, ooh, side by side in the corkscrew, getting some door banging action, and that has brought Tyrrell and McDonald right back into the action. Langenberg, even though he is a lap down car, he is not letting anyone around him. He is fighting for everything he can fight for. And that is gonna, that's pretty bad for Adams, because that's let Tyrrell catch right back up. Adams has a lot of work to do to try to stay ahead. I don't really know why Langenberg's trying to be that aggressive, but here we are. He's looking to get around him. Ooh, I think Langenberg just has the new tires, and he's not trying to cause any trouble for Adams, but Adams is being pretty slow. Langenberg really had to get on the brakes there to stop from hitting him. Nick Tyrrell off in the gravel again just when he was starting to make up some ground. Shouldn't be struggling. He does have those new tires. Nate Sides went off track. Let's see if that caused him any trouble. Ooh, in the gravel a little bit. Luckily, Cantrell is still pretty far behind him, and he was able to keep that together, so I think he'll be okay. But we're back here. Yeah, Cantrell's still 3.5 seconds back. Nate Sides still trying to get back up there. He's back in the mix. We're coming through the corkscrew again. Langenberg is all over the back of Adams, but still lap down car, not really in a fight at all. But I think he's just out there having fun. Tyrrell's going to try to close the gap, but he's got 2 cars to pass. And I don't know if he can get it done. And McDonald is closing the gap on Tyrrell. They both got fresh tires. They're both trying to make it happen. Nick Tyrrell off in the gravel again. He's giving that Lamborghini everything it's got. He's using every bit of the track. He is trying to make it back to the podium. And then we got Langenberg coming up the inside and finally making the pass on Adams. He's got the fresher tires. He's going to try to make it happen. He sends it on the inside. He makes it stick. He is in front of Devin Adams. Not for track position because he's still lapped down, but that leaves Devin in a very vulnerable place. He now has Nick Tyrrell and Jeff McDonald all over the back of him. Devin is on almost an hour-old tires now. He is going to be struggling. He has 5.5 minutes to hold it together, but Nick Tyrrell is all in the back of him, looking to make a move. Coming up on this quick left kink onto the Rahal straight. He's showing his nose on the inside, trying to sell him the dummy. He's not going to take it. Nicks the gravel again. Tyrrell is all over the outside of the track, and he has Jeff McDonald in that Ninja Botanicals Porsche all over the back of him. They're coming in the corkscrew. He thinks about sending it, doesn't have enough time, has to wait and bide his time. Coming down here through turn 9, that fast left sweeper into turn 10. Able to pull a little bit of the gap. It's going to be all about the exit of turn 11 coming up here. It's that really slow left-hander. They're both going to come in hard on the brakes and get on the gas as early as possible, but you don't want to spin, you don't want to go too wide, you don't want to hit that gravel, and Nick Tyrrell's all over the back of him, gets a very good exit. He has great draft. Can he get a move done in P1? T1. Look at those brake rotors glowing on that Mercedes, and there goes Jeff McDonald in the gravel on the outside, trying to take it, and can't get it done, can't get it slowed down, can't hold around the outside, and he is back there behind his teammate, and I don't know how he can catch up in those 5 minutes. That's going to be his dreams of a podium gone for him, but Tyrrell is still on the back bumper of Adams. It says Nate Sides went off track and entered the pit lane. We're going to take a quick look. Hopefully we don't miss any action. Coming through, I think he bumped over that in turn 10. I think he's starting to take some more risks. I don't know why. He's 3.5 seconds in front of Patrick Cantrell. He just needs to run a clean race. And Jeff McDonald went off track again at this fast left-hander. Oh, in the gravel. I think he is just starting to lose concentration. He is not having a good time. That is his dreams of a podium slipping away from him. Unfortunately for Jeff McDonald, that Ninja Botanicals. That's going to let Nate Sides get quite a lead ahead of him in the championship. Let's go back to live. Devin Adams still keeping it in front of Nick Tyrrell. He has 3 minutes left of this race to keep that Lamborghini behind him. And this is an incredible battle. He's up to 14x. He has to keep the car clean. He has to keep the car fast. And he has to keep that angry looking black Lamborghini behind him. And Nick Tyrrell goes a little wide in the gravel again. And Tyrrell is up to 10x. He is also right on there. He goes in the gravel again. Nick Tyrrell, giving that Lamborghini everything it's got, trying to get in front of Devin Adams. I think they're starting. And there he is, off in the gravel again, up to 12x. I think he got 3x that lap. Can he hold it off in the gravel again? Almost loses it. Back end twishes around. Nick Tyrrell needs to calm down, bud. You gotta put that thing in the wall. Adams is doing a good job, keeping it calm, keeping it cool. Right up there. 15x though, getting a little close. We got Jeff McDonald off the track a bunch. Let's see what's happening. That fast lap. Oh no, does he keep it on the wall? Oh, bumps into the tires. Gets a little bit of damage, and that is definitely his race gone. Unfortunately. You hate to see it. And Nick Tyrrell still in the gravel so many times, but able to keep it on the back of Devin Adams, back 2 tenths away. He's going to try to make it happen. Devin Adams, a minute and a half left in this race. He's got to be sweating buckets in that seat. He's going to need a whole new set of pants. Because Nick Tyrrell right on the back of him. Going to look to try to send it around the outside, maybe in this left-hander here. Tries to stick it around the outside. Devin Adams keeps him there. Says, you can go the long way around if you want to get around me, buddy. Through this left-hand kink. Both cars go through here. Devin Adams in the gravel, and that's going to let Nick Tyrrell run it up the inside with the mistake. He's going to send it down the inside on the corkscrew, gets in front of him, and takes it. That is going to be heartbreaking for Devin Adams. That was very unfortunate. And I think that's going to let Nick Tyrrell run away with the podium, unfortunately, if he can keep it on the track and keep it out of the gravel. And Devin Adams diving into the pits? Is he out of gas? All that. And he's in the pits? Why is he in the pits? What? That's not what I want. Did he run out of gas? Hold on. I don't know how much the race left, but I gotta see. Was he cutting out? Is that how I got around him? I don't think he has a drive-through. He doesn't have enough incidents. I don't know why he pitted. I do not know. Devin Adams, why you pit? 21-second pit. He took some gas. I don't know. That let Jeff McDonald get around him. That put Devin Adams all the way back to 6th place. We might have to have a talk with him at the end of the race and see what his strategists were thinking. Why he was in the pits. How they messed that up so bad. We're definitely going to have to find out. And this is the checkered flag. This is the last lap of the race. This is your man Nate Sides going over the finish line. P1 and P2 podium for the first time this season. Patrick Cantrell. I don't know if that's the first time this season. I might have lied. But Nick Tyrrell also podium. P3 coming across the line. And John Kelly made his way all the way back up to 4th place. 4 spots higher than where he qualified. Jeff McDonald and Devin Adams on the finish line. Devin Adams trying to ground Jeff McDonald. Can't make it happen. After all that, McDonald still finished ahead of Adams because of Adams' unfortunate pit stop. Not sure what happened there. We got Langenberg taking it home for 7th place. And Landon Orr looks like he's in the pits. Is finishing up for an 8th place. And that is week 4 in the books at Laguna Seca. That was 90 minutes of some hard racing and very late safety car. Really shook things up at the end. Oh! And that is Langenberg into the wall. 7th place was just too much for him, and he has unfortunately committed suicide. I don't know if we're going to see him again next week. But let's go to some driver interviews, if you will bear with me for one moment. Well, let's bring it up. Last but not least, it's our man, Landon Orr, with us in the booth. How's it going, Landon?
Oh man, it was a rough night tonight. That was a rough night.
That was a very
Pretty
rough night. It was looking pretty promising, but that crash there at the beginning.
No, and pretty much everything that could have gone wrong did. Qualifying, I couldn't put a lap together to save my life. Kept doing really good ones, and then off tracking right at the end. At the beginning, was feeling pretty good till we had that crash. I thought I could still salvage it at least. I just hung back, used my fast repairing, tried to baby the tires, keep them good. When I forgot though, when I went in for fuel, the next one that pitting for the first time for the fast repair reset my tires. I didn't want to take them and accidentally took them, which was awesome. Had more repairs in minutes, so I thought I'd just wait and get those done until I saw Tyler and Nate coming up, so got ahead of them. Burned up my tires trying to stay on the lead lap, hoping that yellow flag would come out. Never did. And then when it finally came out, pit was closed and I ran out of fuel. So it was just one after the other.
Yeah, I saw that. I actually couldn't believe it that you ran out of fuel. You were just, if it would have happened one lap earlier, you would have been right back in it.
Oh, tell me about it. I was sitting there and I'm like, did Marcus forget? I'm like, no, we got this. Like, yeah, just bad timing across the board. Rough night.
I had the timer up there on my phone and I was sitting there the whole time. I'm like, man, they're going to get through all 3 pit stops and there's still no safety cars. So that was crazy. That was very unfortunate. It was looking really strong for you, but that's okay.
Yeah, even a little sliver at the end that was like, maybe I can get ahead of Tyler. I stayed for some repairs, and I didn't realize we were on the same lap. I stayed in too long, so I tried to catch up before the end of the yellow, and I just couldn't catch up. And once he got ahead of John anyways, it was too late.
Yeah, that was pretty unfortunate. But it's okay. You got 3 drop weeks, so
next week, there you go.
We'll get it back together. All right, well, thanks for talking with us in the booth, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks so, Marcus.
And let's talk to, before we bring Nate Sides in here, our P1, I think we need to have a quick chat with our man Devin Adams. Devin.
Hello.
So you pulled kind of a Ferrari strategy there with taking your tires real early.
Yeah, I tried to get it like last time. Last race had that really early caution. This race did not have that early caution.
And I thought it was going to work out for you, and it was working out for you, but what happened at the end there? Why'd you have to dive in the pits on the last lap?
I got a penalty, drive through, too many incidents.
Oh, you did. My overlay must be off, because I didn't think you were up to 20 yet, but that'll do it.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, that'll do it. I didn't think you were up to 20, but you must have been.
You're cutting out really bad, I can barely hear you.
Oh, I must be too far away from the mic. Well, that was unfortunate. It was looking really good. I thought you were going to end in the podium. I just had to see why you went back in the pits. So.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be tonight.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Just like the other ones, there's drop weeks, so you'll be back next week.
Exactly.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us in the booth.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, and then let's talk to our man in first place, Nate Sides. Congratulations on the win tonight.
Thank you.
That was pretty good. You had that incident earlier on. I didn't think we were going to see you back up in first place, but here you are.
Yeah, the whole practice, the whole time I was practicing, I never spun there. For some reason, I couldn't. I don't know what happened, and then I was super skittish going through that corner the rest of the race.
Yeah, that corner definitely caught a lot of people out. But it looks like you got fastest lap as well too, so that's good.
Yeah, that was right after the restart. After the, I don't know what happened. I guess it was just scuffed tires that were the perfect temp.
Yeah, and then after it looks like Cantrell was right there with you, but you just pulled away from him at the end, and then
Yep.
finishing
Yeah,
5 seconds ahead of him. Looks like he just walked away from it. I was really
he pushed.
interested that like Tyler Langenberg was keeping in front of you that whole time.
Yeah.
After his car was finally repaired, I'm sure he was pretty frustrated about that.
Yeah, I was just trying to keep up with. I was just keeping behind him and keeping Patrick behind me, so I didn't want to burn my front tires off. That's what I was trying to avoid.
Were the tires getting pretty hairy there by the end?
It wasn't too bad. In practice, it was way worse. So it was with more cars on the track. It definitely rubbered up, and you had more grip. So it wasn't nearly as close as I thought it was going to be.
Gotcha. Well, it looks like McDonald did not finish very good today, so that's gonna. Your lead was only 1 point, so it's finally gonna stretch that out a little bit today.
Yep, much needed breathing room.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, hopefully we will talk to you next week, and good luck.
All right, thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye. All right, everyone. That's gonna do it. That's the end of the race. Hopefully we will see you back all next week. Next week, again, is our sprint weekend. We're going to have 2 30-minute races. Where are those going to be? I'm going to tell you. It's going to be at Jerez and Olton Park. So that'll be a really good race. Olton Park's going to be real interesting with GT3 cars. It's the no chicane layout. So that'll be a good one. That's going to definitely switch up some positions in the championship battle for the points. There was definitely some mix-ups in the finishing positions. Unfortunately, we weren't able to talk to Patrick Cantrell. He wasn't able to get his mic working, but maybe we'll get to talk to him next week. I don't know. Until then, this is me signing off. Mark Osborne, your fake racing driver commentator for the evening, and I will definitely be talking to you guys next week. Goodbye.